Welcome to Talking with Authors, or maybe another title. We have no idea.
There's something deeply accurate about authors being unwilling to title their podcast. Yeah.
Oh, how long does it take you guys to actually title a book? Like, or is it like easy, or
Listen,
are you like,
I'm starting
hey,
a new series.
Of course you are.
Good luck. Yeah.
And
Hold on, real quick, before you do this. Today our guest is Seth Ring, author of 438 books.
Not many.
Sorry, 435 books. I just was assuming.
7 of them are series that are currently ongoing.
Collectively, the three of us own a board game company. We get into many hijinks, and we're gonna give you a behind the curtain glance at that today. Now, go ahead, Seth.
Sure. So I'm titling this story, and somebody asked me what it's about, and I was like, it's about a body refinement cultivator who gets sucked into a mage's world where it's like a beast tamer's world. So I'm calling it body refinement in a beast tamer's world.
God, you're so romance. Romance does that.
Seth is romance.
It is what it is.
Seth is romance. You're 100% right.
Because it's like, oh, what is this? It's my buff billionaire boyfriend. It's like,
I
okay.
am never going to recover from the sentence, "You're so romance." I am done.
But it is actually true.
It is true. You want to write romance.
The same thing.
No,
It's just doing the same thing.
It's brilliant. Oh my God, Chatfield.
We've broken the Seth code.
Seth is romance. That's I'm never
Take the romance
recovering.
model, but write LitRPG. That's what you got to do.
See, I was thinking that it was the cranberry juice model, because you just are taking two juices and putting them together and calling it cran apple. But fair enough.
It is kind of that's what the like web serial world does, though, is it's just like, this is what the thing is. And so you end up with these like super long titles that are just like a description of the book that was short enough to fit in the title slot instead of the blurb slot. That's all it is.
You think about like Korean books. It's like, solo leveling. It's literally a guy by himself just leveling. That's it.
Yeah, but it's still got a little mystery to it. 2 words, doesn't matter how blunt it is. 7 words, too many words.
It's half the book.
Yeah.
You're paying the typography person more than you're paying the artist. The artist is just like, how much space do I get? Oh no, I've got another word. So you're down to like a square inch now. So good luck.
This literally happened to me for my book Star Summit. It was originally called Constellation Convention. Mm-hmm. And when the cover designer went to work on it, he was like, all right, what's the title? And I said, Constellation Convention. And the email he sent back to me just said, bruh. And I was like, or is that a little too big? He's like, that's not going to fit. And I was like, all right, we could call it Star Summit. And I literally went and added a line where basically the main character like looks into the camera and goes, Constellation Convention? What is that, some kind of star summit? And then I was like, cool, title, nailed. And then we moved on. But literally, so it hurts me to hear these like titles. I'm like, my book designer almost shot me for 2 long words.
Oh, what's that? What's that? There's the guy who makes like spoof books, and it's like raptors abducted me, and then the president jumped in my.
That went a different direction than
yeah, really.
Oh yeah. Hey.
That also is romance if you think about it.
Yeah, true.
It is.
It's already unhinged. Each of these podcasts is just going to get progressively more unhinged until we finally have the king of unhinged, Matt Dinneman.
He's just normal.
Yeah. That'll just be the calmest podcast you have.
He'd be like, hey guys, what's up? Yeah. Because he's so tired from doing everything. Yeah.
It's like napping with Matt Dinneman.
People would show up. That's the best part.
Yeah, they're like, oh, he really does snore when he sleeps. Oh yeah. It's like, I don't know. This is what the game. Is there a name for the game in his series? Do you guys know?
Yeah, there is something show. It's like it's like a TV show that airs every couple years. It's got a like Survivor-esque title to it. Yeah. But I don't remember names of anything. So unfortunately, I think that is the funny part, right? Is we all obsess about names and they really don't matter.
No. I started doing something and people haven't really commented on it. And I thought it was great. Was Restarting the Apocalypse, book 1. It's called Restarting the Apocalypse. Because I just used the same name for the entire series, just because it made it easier for people to find the thing, because they would always get confused between what's the series and what's the actual book name. And I'm just like, let's just make this easy. It is the same thing.
Did you do that for book 2? No. Or yeah. Oh yeah, but that's actually pretty common even in trad. Like,
oh yeah.
Like Red Rising is the Red Rising series. Name of the Wind. No, I guess like the generation before still has like a series title that's separate, but like modern stuff is really moving away from that.
Do you guys think that's because of the like economics of it, that it's just easier, like the search engine optimization essentially of it, where it's like
it's harder to make two names famous.
Yeah. So it's just easier to find if somebody's Googling it, if it's the same thing.
That's smart. I also think if you're searching it for it, like, you know, behind the scenes, very boring stuff is like, you know, Google, it's like you double stuff it, right? You've got your title and your subtitle is going to be the same thing. And it's like, oh, well, if you're searching for this, you're going to be more correlated for it.
I also think that there maybe even be a part that's like removed from SEO where it's just like it's simpler to communicate, right? Because you're giving people the action item. Like Game of Thrones, I think probably had it happen organically. But Game of Thrones is the title of the first book, not a song. Like it's a Song of Ice and Fire. But if you say that to somebody, they don't know what to go find. Like, yes, if you type it in, you'll get it. But like,
it's the Game of Thrones TV show.
Yeah, right. Well, right. And then they like even like streamlined it. But I still think like, I think Sun Eaters may be a really good example of this, which is like because it technically has a series name, but people are like, oh, you need to read Empire of Silence. If you want to give somebody the action item, you tell them what book 1 is. So you might as well make that what the series is.
And I think in the online space, especially the web serial world, people expect one name, and that will just be the name for everything, because they're reading, you know, a series that might be 1,000 chapters long, but it's not divided out into books.
Right.
When you're reading it in web serial form, it's just whatever the single name is. And then if you do put it on Amazon, it's book 1, book 2, book 3, book 13, you know, whatever.
And you know what's really funny is there's friction there. So Ironbound, I didn't get a chance to see, right? Like Ironbound, we're moving quick, we're doing whatever. The ending of the paperback version of Ironbound says like Ironbound will continue in Ironbound 2. And that was not a thing I ever got to see, but it had been like the guy who book designed it is used to doing like LitRPG and progression where that happens a lot. He was like, great. He didn't have a title. He said, boom, 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 boom. We got to get this printed. I got it. And I was like, and the publisher, like Vault, who is not used to working with like LitRPG and progression, the head of Vault, I ran into him and he was like, hey, you might want to have a title for book 2 because like, since we're trying to retail this, they're not used to it being the same title. And I was like, oh, there is one. And he was like, oh, thank goodness. And so, but it was really funny because I was like, oh, the two halves of the, like two sides of the coin are just used to this, like, yeah, right. It's the same thing, whatever. And so in the second like print run, we are changing it, but like there will be a bunch out there that just say like Ironbound 2.
Have you guys ever named your chapters?
No, it seems exhausting.
It's a terrible idea.
I have so much respect for any author who does it because I hate titles.
I'm an
well, we know that.
Yeah. So, here's a rough one for you. Some chapters in 10 Realms are like 1,000 words, right? They're just like super short. Every chapter is named. There's like one book that has 65 chapters in it, and there is 12 books. Yeah. I'm not a smart man.
But every time I will say the funny thing is like the more I write, every time I see an author who names their chapters, I'm like, ooh, those guys are good. I'm like, you're so confident. Like you're going in and you're like, I name things.
How many words are those chapters? Just out of curiosity.
1,000 to 3,000.
I mean, each chapter is like the title is like 5 words.
Yeah,
something like that.
So you're wondering how? Are you wondering how?
That's like 4,000.
That's like a whole extra chapter.
Extra words.
Hey, for KU, that matters.
That's like
I bet I didn't get that KU. I bet I didn't get that KU. 100%.
Every chapter gets a chapter page, like a title page.
Yeah, like okay, so chapter 22, right? 1 page, right? 2 pages. That's the end of it. That's it. And then we're on chapter 23, Black Blood Poison. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, look, we're at 4 pages. And it's a new chapter.
Do you ever feel like when you write a short chapter? When I have a chapter that's just abruptly shorter than the rest, I'm like, that feels wrong. I'm not supposed to do that. Is that allowed? I like panic every time I have Seth is the king of all my chapters at the exact same length.
It's true.
Seth.
It's like it's one word over. This is no. I feel like we're gonna remove an and in here and put a comma somewhere. Yeah.
Seth is the most consistent author I know. Like bar none. Like he knows exactly what it is. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm like, I don't know what's happening at any point.
It's just different creative style, I guess.
Oh yeah, for sure. And
Yeah,
I mean, again, you've written 793 books, so whatever you're doing is working. Ever since I became friends with Seth, I swear I get an email a month from Amazon that's like, new from Seth Ring. And
that's the secret, man.
I screenshot it and I send it to Seth every time, dude. I'm like, everywhere I go, I see his face. Like he won't.
I get Amazon to do my advertising for me.
Wow, must be nice.
You know what? That's a really weird coincidence because I was staying at Brian's place, and his Alexa is like, an author you know has released a book, and it's like Battle Mage Farmer by
No!
Hey Brian, guess what? Someone else has put a book out, and it's not you. And he's like, Seth, isn't it? He's like yelling from downstairs, yelling across his house.
That's incredible that Brian Norton's house yells at him every time Seth publishes a book. That's the dystopian future I want.
It's like, come on, man, keep up. The thing is, this is beautiful. He said it at some point, and he's only set Seth on his Alexa, and he doesn't know how to turn it off. So he's subscribed to
I'm gonna die.
And now Alexa just yells at him like, yo, Seth has another book. What you doing? And he's just like, son of a bitch.
Which is incredible because of all the authors to do that to. Seth Ring is like me, it would say it like twice a year. Seth, every month.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That brings me so much joy knowing Brian and his Brian, if Seth is the most methodical author I know, Brian is the least methodical author I know. And pure chaos. Pure chaos. So to have that just hounding him is incredible.
Every month.
I love it.
That is my favorite piece of lore I have ever heard.
Yeah.
Yes. This whole writing journey was worth it just for that.
I was having a chat with another author, and I was like authors have weird jobs and things that they've done. So Seth, what was your most fun job that you did that wasn't writing?
It's probably not going to be very exciting, but my most fun job was actually sales. Okay. I absolutely loved going and convincing people to buy things.
That makes so much sense.
That is like a joy in my life, is convincing people to buy things. Which is why I'm constantly convincing people to do hey, let's start a board game company. Hey,
we have to tell that story, dude. Yeah.
So I genuinely just loved sales. And then I became an author, and it was like, oh, I can just convince people to read my books now. This is perfect. I not only get to write, which I love doing, but I also get to just figure out how to convince people to buy this thing. I don't know why it brings me so much joy, but I really enjoy.
Two people who have been sold by Seth Ring are on this call, and then he said that if you saw both of us adopt 1,000-yard stairs, there's a reason.
I don't know about you, but I was literally going through Phoenix TSA check when I got a phone call from Seth being he's like, hey man, can I give you a call? I was like, yeah, I got 5 minutes. And he's like, yeah, that's fine. I was like, okay. He's like, hey man, you want to buy part of a board game company? I was like, 1 second, I'm just getting sniffed by dogs. Because the guy's like, get off your phone. I was like, okay. And I just put it down on my side, and I'm just like, and he's looking at me confused. I'm looking at him confused. The dog is like, no, he's good. And I continue on, get to the other side. So board game company. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Okay. And it was in the period it took for me to go through that line, which was actually way faster than I thought. Also going up to, oh, 1 second, passport lady now. Okay, back again. And then like through the security scanners, all of this, it was like, yeah, I got sold in a TSA line, which that's a first.
Mine was, I think, maybe even worse, because when he called me, the board game company didn't exist. He said,
True.
I don't remember where I was. I wasn't, yeah, like your setting, incredible. But mine was like, my phone rings and it's my good friend Seth. And I was like, oh, hey, Seth. And he's like, do you want to start a board game company? And I said, what? He said, yeah, a board game company. What if we started one? And I said, why? and he's like, well, I met these guys and they make really good board games and I think we could make a board game company. And I was like, huh? And then here I am and we have a board game company. So
with just for the record, really good board games.
yeah, unfortunately, I hate being friends with Seth Ring, and here's why. My whole life, I have been the big dreamer. All right, I've been the one who's like, I'm gonna be an author, I'm gonna be a YouTuber, and everyone's like, you'll never make it, kid. And I now am that to Seth. Seth's like, what if we started a company and everybody quit their job and we made 1 million board games and sold them around the world? I'm like, that's not how board games work, Seth. It'll never happen. And then it keeps happening. Seth will be like, yeah, I think we're going to do a Kickstarter. And I think like, we're going to sell like thousands of copies and it's going to be amazing. And I said, I don't know, let's not get ahead of it. And then we did. And he's like, I think we're going to sell it.
I love this story. So there's a story I got from the two of you being at a con, and it was just part of it. Where like Andrew was like, we're not going to sell anything here. It's not going to be that big. And like Seth, I think you were like, I think we're gonna sell like 500 copies or something in a day. And Andrew's like, all right. And then I think Seth, you took that as a bet, and you're like, I'm gonna smash that target so hard. He's gonna freaking like, subscribe, and hit that bell button, just ringing it off the door. And you hit that, and I think that like you like just took the sales sheet and just showed it to Andrew's face, and he's like, yeah, I guess board game's doing really well.
It's so annoying. The only reason I don't spiral is because it's technically making me money every time he dunks on me, so I can't be too mad. But literally, yeah, it was at Gen Con, and he was like, dude, people are really excited about the sheep, and I was like, yeah, I bet they're really excited about it. I say that all the time about things I do. People are really excited, and then people were like walking down the little aisle in front of us, and they'd be like, whoa, what's that game? And they'd come over from like 3 booths away and like shove other people out of the way to look, and I was like, what? And then that just kept happening, and then people would be like, oh, I saw your ad and I emailed it to all my friends, I printed it out so I could make and we were like, what? That's not how ads work. What are you talking about? And it was insane. I was losing my mind watching this happen, and then I'd be
even pay them.
Oh no. And every time somebody came over and just like drooled over it, they'd leave, and Seth would turn and look at me.
Yeah.
Infuriating.
I'm excited though, because we didn't just get through the Kickstarter. We did $500,000 on Kickstarter for the sheep. We didn't just get through that. We're getting through production in like record time. So this stuff is going to be on boats. We finished the Kickstarter end of last year. It's going to be on a boat in like 10 days. And we're going to be...
The other two owners blink in surprise.
We're going to be fulfilling, the sheep like 3 months ahead of schedule. And so like we've got a great team, and the games we're making are legit. Zero strategy games, by the way, in case you're interested.
Wow.
There is a strategy.
There's one. There is a strategy. It's called Seth Ring can't lose is what the strategy is.
Seth dunks on Andrew.
Repeatedly, bro. Listen, you know what? If I can retire off of Seth dunking off me as a career, I'm down. Honestly, like,
dude, I just do have to say that I know that that if Andrew is like, yeah, I'm not sure about that one, I got a winner.
You're like literally the anti-vote, Andrew.
I hate that so much, but it's so true.
Or like, if Andrew comes and goes, I think we can sell like 1,000 copies. That's like, that's a million right there. Yeah, good.
I
fine.
got nothing, unfortunately, because I've lost like 3 times in a row where I've been like, "Well," the only thing I can say is I did come up with a bundle deal that sold a lot of one of our other games, and so you know what, I have contributed. I'm not just a negative Nancy, but it's tough out here.
I also learned that one title that you do hate is Kobold.
I do. Okay, yeah, I don't know why. Kobolds to me are attached to like that era of D&D comedy that was like early internet, like murder hobo trying too hard.
Yeah.
Where like every time a kobold shows up, I'm like, oh, I know exactly what's about to happen, and I'm exhausted. And I don't find it to be like a compelling race or thing because of it, because it got like so stereotyped to me. Like, did you guys ever read Order of the Stick, the web comic? Yeah, like that's what I think of when I think of kobolds. And
that makes sense.
And so, yeah, that's my like, I don't like kobolds.
So for context here, we're coming out with a game that will go on Kickstarter, I want to say in June or April or something like that. So about the middle of the year.
Those are 2 very different months, by the way.
I know.
They don't even touch.
That is literally, that's a quarter apart from one
another.
Correct.
I swear we got a strategy, everyone.
There is a strategy here. But the game is tentatively called Unheist, because you're a team of kobolds who are trying to put treasure back into a dragon's stash before it wakes up and cooks you all. But what's really cool about it is that you play on 2 separate teams. So you're on a team with the person on your right, and you're on a team with the person on your left. And the person on your left is on a team with you and the person on their left. And so like you're playing on 2 different teams trying to get one of the teams to win. So you're cooperating with different people around the board. Super fun game, really cool mechanics, and the art is just fantastic.
That's awesome.
So we're excited about it, but Andrew didn't like the fact that it was kobolds.
I really do like the idea of it being an unheist, though. That's really cool. Yeah. Great job. I did. I need a win. All right, I'm just getting dunked on this whole podcast. I gotta.
I did something, guys. I'm useful.
Seth is also the biggest proponent of dictation writing that I know.
Yes.
Why do you like dictating, Seth?
So we talked about speed a little bit, and about how I write books quickly. I started this book that I'm finishing today. I'm doing the final edits on today. I started it last Thursday, and my computer died this week on Wednesday, and so I lost like a day and a half. But dictation allows me to write at just such a tremendous pace because I can just speak faster than I can type. And if you learn how to think through your story at the same speed that you're talking, which authors do all the time, they think through their story at the same speed that they type. Well, you just teach yourself to go a little bit faster, to do it at the same speed that you talk, and all of a sudden you can take a book that might take you, if you were working on it, let's say full time, 2 months, 3 months, you can shrink that down into a month or even into a week if you're willing to do 8 to 12-hour days. And so I like dictation because it shortens the process, the creative process. And for me, my creative process is really benefited when I do everything in one burst, because I get to keep all of the details in my head and I'm not losing like the thread. One of the things that I discovered, I think the like 5th or 6th book I wrote in the Titan series, I got to the end
or something like that.
His writing career actually just started this year. It's crazy.
Guys, we're at book
since January
57. Yeah.
So I got to the end of that book. It was like book 5 in the Titan series. And I realized that halfway through, I had forgotten the original plot and I had just gone off and written a different book.
Happened.
Right? And I thought to myself, what the heck? Like, how did that happen? Well, it's because I wrote over a period of 3 months, 4 months, right? And I was so far removed mentally from the beginning of the book that I just ended up losing the thread and being like, oh, this is a fun adventure, and developing a different plot. And I essentially wrote 2 books. I wrote half of book 5 and then half of book 6. And so I had to go back, and it took me a couple of months to fix it. And I thought to myself, that just doesn't work for me, because I can't stay on one track to save my life. But shortening the book down, right, it just makes it a lot easier for me to keep all the details in my head. I live in the story a lot more. My books are more coherent. I don't have as many just random tangents and side quests and stuff like that.
I actually never heard that explanation from you before. And now, knowing you and working with you, it makes so much sense.
It's I need to get this out of my brain right now.
Yeah.
Otherwise, never.
Yeah. So I get it out. Just to be clear, you said you started a book on Thursday and it's done?
Yeah. It's Saturday.
Today is Saturday. Yeah. Just so we're clear.
Week.
Oh, okay. I just
Wait. Which
Last
Thursday?
Thursday.
Wait. Which
Last
Thursday? Okay.
But I didn't work on Saturday and Sunday. So it was
didn't?
Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday, my computer blew up. Thursday, I got my computer back in the afternoon. And then Friday, and then today's Saturday.
4 days.
A little bit more than that, but yes.
I wrote a couple chapters in that period of time.
I do think it's important to, for people to understand that I have a very, very distinct process. I have a very distinct outlining process. I have a very distinct editing process that incorporates a lot of other people. I have a particular style to my books that they're not literary. I'm not writing really complex plot lines and stories, right? I'm writing about characters who are exploring worlds. And so because of that, because of the kind of writing that I'm doing, it can go free flow very easily. I don't have a lot of really heavy editing where I have to go back and work through detailed plots or tweak all of the little pieces to make sure that everything fits properly, right? It's just it's just a particular style of pulpy storytelling.
I mean, you've identified your
this.
style and you've leaned into it, right? That's what you're supposed to do, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's just that I do it in a way that is conducive to writing these books in a really short amount of time. Whereas if I was trying to write
writing process.
Yeah, see, if I was trying to write Andrew's books though, I wouldn't be able to do it like I do. It would take
nobody
time.
can write anybody else's book. Because also my brain works that way and your brain works that way.
That's
I couldn't do what you're doing either.
Yeah.
My brain doesn't work that way. So I don't. That's a nonsense comparison.
It's also I don't think any of us would want to, but because that's the joy of reading someone else's work, and then you're like, wow, I like how you did that because it's not how I would have done it, and it adds new flavor. You I was having a discussion. I don't know if it was a discussion. They were telling me.
That happens a lot in author circles.
Sure does.
Yeah.
I was like, we probably know who this was.
Yeah, actually, 100%. But essentially what they were talking about was literary genius and the critique of things and the purple prose of things. And it was it was it has to be such a beautiful sentence. It has to be so well put together and all of this. And I was that gets you awards, but it doesn't get you readers, right?
Yeah.
And I think that and I mean this of I don't know, a word I always come back to is storyteller. You're writing a story and you're telling people. You have to tell it to people. And yes, there are people who really appreciate purple prose, but I would say that is a vast minority of readers.
Mm-hmm.
So when the people that are reading that purple prose are the literary critics who are we do these really prestigious awards and blah, 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 blah. Then I raise you 50 Shades of Grey and Twilight. 2 series that are really, if you looked at the edit, the sentence structure and how it's done and all of that, it's not great.
Sure.
But people absolutely loved those stories. And they were like, I'm going to consume the heck out of this. I love this story. And that's, I think, is a really key component. Because I was like, when you were saying, Seth, like, hey, like, my stories aren't complex. Well, actually, there's a beauty in simplicity. And there's an art to doing that. Because if you can take something and make it super, super simple, that's really key. I was talking to a guy who does he runs this company teaching people, and he comes back to this thing. Actually, you know him, Cole. I was talking to him, and he was saying like there's Picasso's painting of I think it's the bull, and Picasso was going, how few brushstrokes can I make for you to understand what I'm drawing is a bull? And it's because you can go to the other end, which is this hyper realistic bull. Yeah. And then on the other end, it's like a stick figure, but you know what it is. And that's both ends of that is really complex, and it takes a lot to figure that stuff out. But yeah, no, that person was talking at me of like, yeah, like, I don't think that these works, this indie thing is going to amount to much because it doesn't write beautiful prosaic things. And I was like, I think it will, because it meets readers where they are, and it allows writers an incredible freedom that is not really seen in other parts of this industry.
So often the feeling that is evoked when you read the story is actually what matters. The way that, you know, the way that it's written, the way that like the word choice and all of that contributes to the feeling that the reader leaves with, right? At the end of the book. What do they take away from it? And I've definitely, I think, gotten simpler in a sense as my books have gone, because I've realized that you can communicate feeling through context in very sparse description, as long as you're giving the reader a context that they already understand. And so that's the thing, is like when you're putting a reader into a position where they're like, oh, I know what this is. I have been in the room when people have been having this argument, or I have had this argument, or, you know, I've had the experience of opening the door and seeing the thing I want to see, or the thing I didn't expect to see, but genuinely wished was going to be there. And you can communicate all of those feelings. And ultimately, that's what people remember, right? People remember how a book made them feel over, oh, the prose was, you know, so great. So I do think...
I agree. However... no, I do agree. But I do think that there is this is like the thing that's been growing in my mind lately of how I think about books, is I think that I like reading books the way that a magician likes watching another magician show.
Oh, to figure out the behind the scenes of
it. Or you appreciate the sleight of hand, right? Like you maybe appreciate different things than the person reading the book, who is reading it at like the enjoyment level. Like, I wish to be in a story, right? And you're like, I do magic, but like, I want to see how you do the magic. And like, that's so cool, right? And so I think that there's a delta of storytelling in prose, which is like purple prose is I think also bad, right? Because purple prose in some ways is divorced from anything. It's just pretty, right? Whereas like storytelling is divorced from aesthetic. It's just interesting. And I think that the delta is like, how can you say your simple, clear insights well? Which is why I think Stephen King often is like, does it so well. He's super simple in a lot of stuff, but it's really clever and pretty how it's put together, but it's never just for no reason, right? Like, usually not for no reason. He's all over the place sometimes, but like, I think that the intersection, like the pursuit of being a good writer, is to tell the best story with the best words, right? And you can lean in. Everybody has a strength on one side or the other, just like you're a pantser or a plotter. But like, there's an inherent like cleanness to communicating. Just like you were talking about, like distilling it down simply and using fewer brushstrokes. Like, it's part of prose too. Like, how do I say this? Right. And I don't say it 4 different ways. I only need to say it one, and I trust the audience. Like, sometimes I over-explain things, right? I say it 2 different ways because I'm like, what if they don't get it? and stuff like that.
I used to do that all the time, where I was like, "Oh, I like said something," and I was like, "I don't think that they fully get it," and then I just had like I keep sticky notes around sometimes, and it has pieces of advice, and it says one of them said, "You already said it once. Trust the reader," and the other was just kiss, like keep it simple. Like it's you could underestimate who's getting it, or you can actually overestimate it, and sometimes it's finding that balance. Like I don't know, like okay, with writing so many books, Seth, you get to test out at very like focused points where your reader's at, and also how to interact with them.
And I actually go a step further than that, and I invite a bunch of my core readers to read my drafts before they've even been edited. And I do that very intentionally because I want to know whether what is in my head when I am just drafting, again, before I've gone through and done a heavy edit, I want to know if what's in my head when I'm just drafting is going to communicate to my reader. And actually, so I write chapters every day and I upload them to Google Drive, and then I invite groups of people to come and read the books as they're being written, right? And so they'll read whatever chapters are there, and I can use that to gauge excitement. I can use that to gauge interest. If I'm getting no comments, I know that I have a problem. If I'm getting comments, I know, oh, people are actually engaged with this. But sometimes they'll be like, hey, what the heck is happening here? Like, I just don't get this. And then I go, oh, in my head, there's context, but I never actually communicated that context to the reader. And so there's no way for them to know what this is. Or sometimes I'll write something and they'll come back and both of these things have happened literally this week with this manuscript that I'm just finishing up.
Just starting to, but
Yeah, right.
Seth is always both starting and completing the book. It is Schrodinger's book.
And Andrew is just in constant pain. Just like,
yes, correct.
Every time I talk to him, it's, I'm editing.
Yeah, literally. When was I talking to you, Andrew? We were just like, how's it going? Oh, well, the editor said it was good enough, but I didn't agree with that. So what I went and did was I edited the book again. It's like, why? Why did you do that?
Unfortunately, all my books are written by an and so I'm always cleaning up after him. Yeah. I got no defense. I am just dunked on again. It's true. It's true, and it is what it is. Okay, so Seth, yes, you have this wide range. We're just grilling Seth, and I'm here for it. Here, let me ask you this. Okay, do you have a book where you think that you nailed it the most, and where you nailed it the least?
What do you mean by nailed it?
This concept we're talking about of delivering exactly like the delta of what you're doing.
So I would say probably the same book, Soul Caller 1, which again has that naming convention of the first book is called Soul Caller 1, the second book is called Soul Caller 2, the third book is going to be called, surprise, Soul Caller 3.
Can the fourth book just have like a really out of pocket title?
And then the fifth book will be Soul Caller 5.
Yeah.
It'll just be the fourth book.
But people have to read to the fourth book because what happens? It just
so where did the book go? What?
What I discovered after I had published that book and I came back to it was that the first 75% of the book was one kind of book, and the last quarter of the book was a different kind of book. And my audience expected the second, the last quarter, because the second book which was written in that style, a lot looser, a lot more fast paced. The characters are just sort of exploring their space, right? The first half, or the first 75% of book 1 is a young man coming to grips with a new reality that has been thrust upon him and surviving in the wild, right? And so it's very much a sort of classic Western. And the language that I use was pulled straight out of my Louis L'Amour, Zane Grey, backlog. All of these books that I had read as a kid. And when Western fans read it, they were like, I really love this book. And then it got kind of weird. And when all my fans read it, they were like, the first part was boring. And then I really loved it. And then it got interesting, right? And what I realized was, oh, I executed really, really well on this concept that I had in mind. The problem was it was the wrong concept for my audience. It wasn't the right style of writing. And I had an absolute blast writing it. But again, it just wasn't really the right sort of thing. I think as far as my style goes, Battle Mage Farmer 1 is probably the cleanest example of my style.
Minus all the ha-ha-has.
Minus all the ha-ha-has. So that's
what's with the ah-ha-has?
Oh, dude. Okay. So confession time. I come from the web serial world, and in it, when somebody laughs, you write the laugh.
Yeah.
So it's haha.
Oh
right?
God.
It was a reflex that I had that I wasn't even aware of until that book came out and people started pointing it out. And I went back and did a search. There are so many.
How many? You know the number. How many?
There is an embarrassing number of just ha-has
you
in this
know
book.
The number.
He does.
I can see that he knows.
I don't actually remember it. I will look it up right now for the sake of the podcast. I will look it up right now. But
you essentially made a laughing track.
Yes.
In your own book.
Correct.
Like you made the Friends sitcom laughing track.
100%.
Isn't that's wholesome? That's some wholesome stuff right there.
Or embarrassing, you know.
Oh, that could drive you nuts if you like. I don't know. I'm
so as the series goes on, there are fewer and fewer of them, and by the end, there just aren't any because
he stopped laughing. Laughter left the world.
Stopped laughing.
The readers are like, wow, this character's getting really depressed. They're like maniacally laughing in the beginning, and now they're like,
there's no more joy. I think I met Seth like right around when BMF came out, and it was taken off, and I went and read it, and then I texted him and was like, "Hey, dude, I really enjoyed BMF, but like, what's the deal with these ha-has?" And he was like,
"Oh man!" So the first version,
reading
in later versions, they're actually fewer.
I bet.
But in the first version, there were 123.
Oh, that's a perfect number.
Haha. We got it down to 41.
Down to 41. You got 70% of the laughter. Wow.
Oh my! But this is one of the things I love about being an author.
This went from Disney to SeaWorld real quick.
Yeah,
oh.
Yeah, we did. Ouch. One of the things I love about being an author, though, is that, somebody pointed that out to me, and, a lot of people pointed that out to me. And then I went, oh, yeah, you're right. Why am I doing that? Why do I have this reflex, right? Mm-hmm. Why not use better language to describe the situation? And so now that's what I do. And as I'm writing, I don't think, or I don't, speak or type, haha. I immediately filter. Right?
I just realized that you were in your basement going, ha ha. Like your wife must have thought you were possessed or there's a poltergeist in her basement.
Oh, because he was dictating it. There's just him going, ha ha.
Yeah. Just ha ha. She's like, having a good day, honey? Yeah, it's awesome.
Listen, my wife has been pretty sure that I just lost it a long time ago. So
I mean, yeah, already Seth just goes down to the basement, locks himself in, and hallucinates wildly for hours while talking, right?
Pretty true.
Yeah.
The way I describe it to people is that I start a book, I open up a book that nobody has ever read before in my head, and I start at the first word and I read to the last word. And that's how I think about it. I just read a story that nobody else has read before, and then I have a book.
I can see Andrew having a problem right now. He likes he doesn't like it.
I'm just having a stroke because I can't imagine thinking about it that way. I don't that's so divorced from how
You're bringing
Because, like,
it into existence, man.
Yeah, Seth is manifesting an alternate reality wherein literature has existed. He's stealing that literature and presenting it to you. And I like can't even
or maybe I just transmigrated into this reality and all these books are already written in another reality and I'm just plagiarizing those authors.
Yeah, like somehow you're a thief. I don't know.
in that same context, Andrew was like, you know what I want to do in this reality I've created? Live in editing hell. Like I'm just gonna, you know what place I want to be? I want to constantly be looking at commas and full stops. Like, yeah, let's do that.
It's not that, dude. Like that is like Mark Lawrence had a tweet that I like sent to my editor, which is like, the story's up to me, the commas are between my editor and God, and that is, I don't know how commas work. I put them places. Sometimes they're wrong. My editor routinely criticizes me for having comma splices. I'm still really unsure what those are, but I say, oops, sorry, every time. It's for me, editing is where like I say one thing, like the character expresses one thing, and then like a couple like sentences later, he expresses like the opposite. Or he, you know, like where these like little flows that are just like inhuman occur. Or it's the same word used too much, or it's like a confusing, like technically this is all correct, but it's not clean. Yeah. Those are the things that I like really, when I'm going through and editing, like in my like perfect world, like an editor highlights a paragraph and says like, this is weird. Like, I don't even need you to tell me what's wrong with it, or like I would fix it. Like, because almost never do I accept somebody else's fix, right? Because it's not my voice. Yeah.
Andrew. It's called a dev editor.
No, but don't get me. This is we're not going down this road. Nope. No. They're riling me up on purpose. I just want you all to know. They both know what they're doing.
I'm okay, so if I look to my right, I actually have a guide to punctuation on dialogue because I always get messed up on it. So it's just like I always got confused. And then I was like, oh, you know, like I kept on having to pull up a guide and I was like, why don't I just print this? And now I have it here. And also like things that you should not forget. And I'm like, oh, this is great. And then I did that. And you know what my dev editor said to me? This is much cleaner.
Well, that's fine. Like, I don't even care about that, right? Like, if we want to rearrange the paragraph or add a comment, like, I don't care. Yes, correct. I care about like, there's this like distillation that occurs. Like there's like the moment of the magic where it's like, this is what makes you a good writer or a good storyteller, right? I have put a story that I like down on paper and people have read it. But then there's that last 5% that takes it from good to great. And you cannot like experience that in one sitting. Or you change a sentence and that adjusts another paragraph. Right. So like for me, every pass that I go through, something else emerges out as the new rough spot where like you smooth that down. It like now the story flows. And then, now this part is like the outlier. But before it was overshadowed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, with every pass that I go through, I find something where I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Or like that doesn't contribute to like where we actually ended up going or whatever. And a lot of novels in this genre like to meander. Right. There's a slice of life element, which I don't like. I do not write slice of life. I like stakes. I like focus. I like whatever. So a lot of times editors go like, this is consistent for the genre, but it's not consistent for me from the voice that I want to do. And so I'm the only one who can be like, that doesn't make, you know, I end up ripping things out, that kind of thing.
It's nearly always when you're editing, you're just tearing things out. You're like, that entire section's gone.
Recently, so Coldwind, book 2 of Ironbound, I added 20,000 words in editing. And they are almost all Norit and Seth's fault.
How this thing works?
Well, no, they both. Well, so Seth hadn't even read it, but Norit read it, and Seth was with us while Norit was giving me a bunch of feedback. And Seth basically was like, "Oh, all of these notes are accurate. Like, if that's what's wrong, like you're missing this part of what this kind of story is." And I sat there and was like, "Yeah, they're right." And I went home and added 20,000 words in editing. Because I just had like skipped a thing.
Well, that's the thing. It's like sometimes when you're in it, in your head, you know what the story is. You have the context. Again, it's about, does the reader have all of the context? Does the reader see each of the pieces that make this story the kind of story it is, right? You know, if yeah, if you're writing about a revolution, you have to have the tyrant, right? If you don't show all of the pieces of it, it's not the story you were trying to tell in the first place. And sometimes when you're so close in on it for a long time, it becomes really hard to like remember almost, do I have all of the pieces? Which again is why I like writing in such short context windows, because it's a lot easier for me to keep all of the pieces in mind, and I don't end up sort of getting fuzzy on old sections because I literally just wrote them, right? But I will say, when I have actually slowed down long enough to go through a book a couple of times, I always feel like it's better, like after the fact. I always feel like it's improving. And one of the reasons that, I think, Andrew, you and I get along so well is that we are on very opposite sides of this. And so we have really interesting conversations about writing and about style and about the way all of this stuff fits together. And we're both aiming at the same exact objective of like writing the best story possible and communicating with our audience in the best possible way, right?
We both want to be the best magician we can.
That's exactly right.
And I think you're using different tricks.
Yeah. And authors, like, that's one of the coolest things about just the author community in general, is that you don't have to write the way other people write. You can figure out a system that works for you, and you can hone your craft, because ultimately it is a solo activity. Like, nobody else can write my book. I have to write my book. And if I let somebody else write my book, it's not my book anymore. So,
I don't know how people like pull off really well co-writing series.
I think there's always one secret owner.
I tried, and me and another
buried out your backyard. Got it.
Me and another author were like, hey, we should co-write something. I was the one who convinced him, like, hey, let's do this thing, and
our output's going to be amazing.
I know, right?
I know who it was. This is very funny to me.
He gave me an outline. I was like, okay, cool. I'll sit down and I'll like flesh out some of the story. 90,000 words later, I gave him a book and was like, I kind of finished it. Here, you can edit this. And then his editor looked at it and was like, you would have to rewrite this entire book. You cannot put your name on this because it is just so divorced from your style of storytelling. And so it's like, we could have, if we had gone through with it, if we had forced it, we would have ended up with a book that wasn't my style, and my audience would have been like, what is this? And it wasn't his style, and his audience would have been like, what is this? Right? Because we write so differently, and we think about stories so differently, and our output just ends up being very different. Since then I've said no.
I know. I think it's very funny because I was pitching Seth on us writing something together, and then this happened, and he was like, I'm not doing it. I was like, no!
Yeah, no, I've gone down that road a couple of times, and it's a big no. It's big. Ugh. Yeah.
Like, I don't think I could do it, actually, deep down. Yeah. It would be like one or two people I could do it with, and it would still bug me, but I don't think I could do it.
I think that your attention to detail would essentially be crippling when you'd be like, why did you do this? Why did you do
and this is another thing that drives me nuts, by the way, because like I'm not used to being the attention to detail guy. It's insane to me that amongst my peers, I am the attention to detail guy. That makes no sense. Never in my life have I been the attention to detail guy.
So I have a theory about this.
Yeah.
I think it's because of the kind of reader you are.
That makes sense.
And
actually,
I think that, the kind of reader I am informed the kind of writer I became. So I think the reading education that you get before you become a writer, and then the continued reading that you do while you are a writer, really influences what sort of reader or what sort of writer you end up as.
That makes sense. I do read a lot of like trad and like highly edited, like really like stickler stuff. Yeah, I read a lot of meticulous stuff. Yeah, that's true.
And I don't. And the meticulous stuff, I don't find it particularly appealing. But I do like these fast-paced, loose stories that break all sorts of, trad writing rules. And I find those really, really compelling. And I think they would drive you absolutely bonkers. You'd be like, there's no consistency here. What the heck is going on?
I do want consistency, but I also want fast pace, right? Like I want to merge, like I am a pulpy reader deep down, right? Like amongst like the literary like readers of the world, they would consider what I read trash.
Right.
However, like it's meticulous, precise, fast paced trash.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to be.
I think though, okay. My theory is that we're writing faster and faster books because things happen faster and faster in movies, TV shows, video games. So you have to, like, this makes me think of like scripts, right? If you look at like movie scripts, usually it's within like the first 10, 15 pages, you have to hit the action point. In Disney, it's in the first 5 pages. You have to hit that point of conflict. So they're going, the faster we hit that point of conflict, the better we are. Was it like the latest Matt Damon and Ben Affleck movie? It was literally like they changed up the format to make movies because they're like, we're going to have the point of conflict, literally the first thing that happens to get people's attention to carry them through. And it's like you're changing to a new kind of consumer content. But I was looking at, I was writing Builder's Legacy, and book 1, I was like, the way it was laid out was 3 books. I was like, this is going to be 3 books. This is going to be amazing. Nope, 1 book. Because I had learned how to write, okay, let's link this together, do this really fast and all of that. Because it created more tension, it created like that pull. And it wasn't, oh, he was sitting around on his spaceship talking about microgravity. It was like, no, he was in a dogfight and learning about microgravity because he was bouncing off a bulkhead. Like, okay, like that's a much more active scene. And we're doing 3 things at once. He's getting attacked, he's learning about the world, and it's funny. And we learn about the character too. So it's that writing style has really like come in. And like, I know the both of you write that way. Is like, you're trying to do so much in so little space, though it is really annoying because I hear both of your guys' voices when I read your stuff. It's like, funny. Yeah, like that's you funny. Hear the main character, you're like, oh yeah, Seth? Is that how it's going, Seth? Cool. It's like Andrew's like, I'm gonna go make an oath in the stables, and I'm like, God damn it. Did you not learn the first time? And he's like, no,
never.
Do it again. This time it's going to be with more people.
So I think that that's one of the reasons that LitRPG is becoming so popular, and why progression fantasy has sort of taken over as far as fantasy goes. It's because we can deliver context in shorthand to a reader, right? In a LitRPG, when you say the character levels up, you don't have to spend chapters describing the training, how the new skills that they're learning impact the world, all of that kind of stuff. No, they leveled up. Everybody instinctively, like all of the readers have context for what that means. It means that the next time I pull out my sword, I'm going to be better with it, right? And it's like every time we deliver a piece of world building or plot progression through that context, we're training our readers to just acquire information quicker, and that they're going to be able to absorb everything and move faster, which means leaves more time. And this is good and bad. It leaves more time for things to happen. And it's bad in the sense that the reader then gets bored if things aren't happening. And so it's harder to slow down and give like true tension and emotion to a scene because everything's just sort of expected to happen at a TV show pace, which is like, you jam a ridiculous amount of conflict and resolution into 20 some minutes. And it's like, no, that's not how the world works. That's not, but we expect it. We expect it to just sort of move along snappily. I want to be able to watch while scrolling my phone. And so I need to be able to look up every once in a while, get enough context that I can understand what the show is, and then I keep scrolling my phone, right? And I think that readers are being trained in that world, in the real world, and then they're coming into books, and LitRPG just happens to fit that specific style of engagement really, really well. And so I think that's one of the reasons that, in Asia, it's over 50% of the fantasy and sci-fi market now, and in the US, it's growing rapidly.
Yeah, I agree, which is why I always think it's so interesting when LitRPG or progression decides to go slice of life, because to me those are like diametrically opposed, right? Like if you suddenly have so much more space and you're like, and I will do it with not nothing, but like essentially like a really low stake, low octane thing. To me, the shorthand, the whole point is to then give you the space to actually do the thing without losing like I have all this space where I can now accomplish something. And then a lot of times the genre is like, and I will accomplish nothing. I'm like,
But good slice of life accomplishes something.
True, it does. You're right.
Accomplishes a feeling, right? When the main character spends a chapter examining
making
the
cheese.
wheat on their farm,
you know, like as yeah.
making some
cheese, right? What you're doing is like
I learned a lot about cheese making in that.
I learned so much about cheese making in BMF.
Battle Mage Farmer. The point of that was that here you have this slowly revealed dichotomy between a man who is destroying the world with every breath and trying to find peace and solace in what he's doing, like what is in front of him, right? And he's interacting with another character. And so all of the cheese scenes are moving the relationship between the main character and the main love interest forward in just micro steps, right?
Yeah, but it also
for sure.
It also said it's like the last breath of peace, right? You also used it as a tone setting before, like some of the later books are not slice of life.
Dude, nothing is slice of life after the first book.
And I think that's different too. Yeah, because you like...
it's just like even the ramp is aggressive. It's like so you came here for the cheese and the farm. You know what you're gonna get? Actual
fire.
Everything. It's all exploding. It's falling apart.
Oh, you woke the dragon. Yeah, no, I still think that like tone setting, like totally right. It's but also the funniest comments I see about BMF are people who are like, I was really here for the cheese, and you're like, oh man,
oh, sorry,
sorry. But you still are doing something with the space, right? I'm not saying you always have to do something with the space at all times. It's surprising to me that like I think that as a literary device, LitRPG and progression creates like really easy ladders for you to up the ante. And then a lot of the genre is like, what if we didn't up the ante?
Right.
And it's like that's what it's the best at. What do you mean?
Yeah. Well, so I have a theory about that too. And
let's hear.
It's I don't know if it's a good theory. It is a theory, but my theory is that that people are trained into thinking progression is a good thing, and then but they really don't want it. And so there's this tension in readers where they have been trained their whole life by the modern system that advancement, that improving, that getting ahead is what is best. And so the sense of progression that they get vicariously through a progression fantasy or a LitRPG book really resonates with what they feel like they should be doing, how the world should work. The main character should be accomplishing things and moving forward. But I think most readers who are reading LitRPG and fantasy or progression fantasy are genuinely tired of the grind. And what they actually want is a moment away from it. And so when you give them, hey, this is why I think the whole like cozy LitRPG thing works, because you're like, here's the progression so you don't feel guilty about not being productive or doing a thing, right? And then also here's this moment of peace where you can separate out from the grind that you feel your life is, and you can just sort of step into this cozy space and feel safe in a sense for a moment, right? And so I think that there's this like, it is weird. It is weird so that these things go together. You're
saying deep down all of us yearn to create stakeholder value, shareholder value?
Right.
Is that what you're saying?
No, it's that everybody...
I feel guilty for not creating revenue.
Right? I think though that people are just taught that if they're not improving or getting better or getting richer or getting in more shape or whatever, they're wasting their life or they're wasting something, right? Even it's hilarious to me, but even when you watch those like get back to nature, you know, like, hey, let's go live off grid, right? If you watch those videos or those influencers, they're all like, we're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this. There's almost never a moment of them just being like, hey, what I have is enough. I don't need to make a bigger outhouse. I don't need to get cooler solar panels. I don't need to make another tiny home, right? No, I'm just going to like enjoy the things I have, and I'm not going to, right? Like I'm not going to keep.
Are you making the argument that people trying to seek the simpler life and like creating an off-grid home system are actually just giving themselves a lifetime's worth of work? They're buying the wrong lie. It's like, just get a house and stay there. Clear your mortgage and just sit there.
Yeah, go do something within your means. I'm serious. Go do something within your means. Build a community from the people around you, and actually live a simple life. Don't.
Yeah, it's not inherently simple to live in a place that's a secluded place because you've just committed to a
not simple.
Yeah,
you've committed to a battle against Mother Nature by yourself.
That's right.
Yeah,
and she's a tough old broad.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, she is. Well, especially right now. Yeah, like if anyone's living in a remote community, please go give them a phone call on their satellite phone and see if they're doing okay. Because it's a little cold out there in a lot of
places. A little cold. Yep.
Yeah,
no, that's fair. I actually think that there's probably something to that. It's just funny that the genre. It's like I want to stay in genre, but I want to experience something that's antithetical. I mean, I guess that happens in all genres to some degree. It's just funny. Like
I think also though, like, okay, if you have the system, right? You have your magic system that's in there. That can act as like your third person, like, who is this? Mm-hmm. Who is this character by reference, right? So like one really cool device you can use, and Chinese novels, Asian novels use this a lot, whereas like other people will be saying things of like, wow, that guy over there, he's the 5th strongest guy of this clan, and all of these things, and like this guy over here, blah blah blah, and then it's like your main character, he sucks. Like we're not even going to talk about that guy. And then that guy gets stronger, and you have other points where they're like, oh my god, that guy, like he's achieved this, he's done this, etc., etc. And you're using an external person to say that, because
almost like a Shakespearean chorus.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is, by the way.
If you have the character say it themselves, the character's like, I'm awesome, I defeated this guy, and you're going like, wow, this guy's kind of an ass. Like he's a bit full of himself. But if you have it external, it's okay. So when you have the stat screens and it's external, it's like, hey, this is a reliable narrator saying you're a badass, here's all your stats and stuff. And then you're like walking down the street and like it's like, oh man, like I really want to work up. Like the old man's walking down the street and he's like, oh man, I really wish I had like higher than like level 20 in my body stat. And the guy's like 2,000. You're like, and that guy is a retired guard. Like he's supposed to be strong. Like
what? Michael Chatfield is saying that systems in LitRPG are just an updated version of the Greek chorus.
Incredible. We've done it. We've cracked the literary code.
We're back to the pros, people.
Now I want to write that. That'd be so funny to write a LitRPG where there isn't a system. It's just a divine chorus that appears. Yeah, it's like a Hercules retelling, but the chorus is a system.
And it's just so disappointed. It's like...
and it speaks only in iambic pentameter.
He wants to do something different with its life.
Listen now, ye who will hear, to the level stats of the one before ye.
Oh man. Oh, we know narrators who would have so much fun with that. They would just be like, oh man, my training has come to the fore.
Yeah, I know. Finally I get to do Shakespeare and video games at the same time.
Oh man, I kind of want to do that just because they would have so much fun with that.
Ask not for whom the level tolls. It tolls for thee.
Oh, now I want that, but like for like the foot scenes with the administrator with Matt's character Carl. Like Carl
Dungeon
getting
Crawler
the
Carl. Dungeon Crawler Carl. The Shakespearean version.
Give us thou toes to licketh upon and enjoy in merriment. May we all be pleased. Glurpus, glurpus, glurp. Sorry, Matt.
It's sort of like, you remember when Pride and Prejudice entered public domain, and you got Pride and Prejudice and zombies and Sense and Sensibility and sea monsters. It's that, but like in reverse.
Yep.
It's just like everyone was like, "Oh, it's open. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna parody this so hard that everyone is like, what the hell is going on?"
Yeah, I've been waiting for this. Like the second Steamboat Willie and Winnie the Pooh entered, there were like horror games being made with them, and like,
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I think James Hunter was waiting for that to release so that he could do that in Discount Dan, because he's like, "Yeah, I don't have Steamboat Willie." And I was like, "Why?" He's like, "Childhood, man, childhood." It's like,
that sounds like the most James Hunter thing I've ever heard. Yes.
Yeah. And he's just waiting for all. He's just like, "Oh, when's the latest copyright?"
You guys
gonna
need
come
to have him
out?
on.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
He's so fun.
I love
Yeah,
James.
he'll show up
James
in a
is
bathrobe.
awesome.
He's just started to do more bathrobes for Discount Dan. He was like,
know.
he did it as a gimmick, and then he was like, "Oh,
People
sold
want
out."
this.
And Jeanette's just like, "Why? Like, what? This is supposed to be a well-oiled professional machine." And then there's like,
bathrobes.
yeah, James standing 6'4", 6'6", just being like, bathrobe, just like
Yep.
the
I
Burger King hat on, and it's
I
like,
think there's maybe no
Oh.
better picture for their relationship than Jeanette. Like, Jeanette is a shark, precise, oiled, ready, like has everything under control, and then her husband just spontaneously creating like incredibly strange situations that she has to manage, and they work. Yeah, phenomenal.
Pretty fantastic.
it
At
was,
Dragon Con, he was wearing like one of like the blue robes. Michael and I went and saw him, and he put it on, and Jeanette literally turned and looked at me. It's like, he's in the robe, and I was like, I see. She's like, it was very important that he brought the robe, and I was like, I see. And then people would not stop taking photos with him, and she was like,
Yep.
so funny.
I think she was annoyed that the two biggest marketing things that worked was everyone. Like, he has the dog. Do you remember what the dog's name is? The dog is made out of croc and it has a heart-shaped butthole.
No, I even saw its name yesterday, and I can't remember what it is.
That
Anyway,
thing.
yes, that dog, the one on the cover.
Everyone wanted to take a picture with their face in the heart.
Oh yeah, they had the cutout. Yeah.
Yeah, and so everyone was coming by to do that, and then everyone was like, "Where can I get that bathrobe?" And like, you just see like, no. It's like the two of you at Gen Con, just like, I'm so happy it's doing well, but
Am I the
God.
Jeanette in this relationship?
the Jeanette and well, I don't know. There's a lot of James in you though.
There's a lot of James in me.
So, like, I could see you
but in
wearing
that
a Burger
instance,
King
yes.
hat.
Hey, if it would sell books, I would.
Yeah, there we go.
One thing about me, I have no pride. Been making my living off the internet for too long to have any
Yeah.
pride left.
That's
Yeah, that is fair.
that's real talk.
But just everyone's like, yeah,
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I stopped
Yeah,
looking
we
at
know.
the comment section a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah, they're funny. I don't know. I just don't feel anything.
That's I
Like,
I
from
look at all
head
my
down,
comments.
like,
and yeah, I read all my comments, and what I realized
that is not a face of a happy man.
well, what I realized
Like-
some time ago was that like neither side get me super excited, right? It's like, oh, that's a mean comment. Okay. Oh, that's a nice comment. Okay. And I don't know whether that's just like professional distance or I just read too many of them and my brain just doesn't believe anything it reads on the internet anymore or what. But it was a really interesting like shift from, as an author, reading somebody's excited comment and then getting really excited, and then reading somebody's mean comment or like 1-star review and just being like devastated for like days. It was a really interesting shift to just like, oh, that person has this opinion, that person has this opinion. They're wildly different. You know, this person thinks I'm the greatest writer of all time, and this person thinks I should stop writing forever.
Yeah.
Okay.
And both of them are wrong.
Right.
That's exactly it.
I
don't know.
Yeah, we were saying the other day on another podcast that it's actually the 3 stars that still hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're like almost right.
Yeah.
Brian did the exact same thing. We all were like, we just took that pain, rode that a little bit. Like,
This was
somebody
almost
left.
good.
Yeah, somebody left a 3-star yesterday that was like on Ironbound that was like how much they liked it, how excited they were about it. And they're like, until I stopped enjoying it. And then it is long and it is like bullet point formatted. Here are my flaws. And I was like, I'm actually going to stop reading this one because I was like, ooh, I probably agree with you. And no.
You're that character in the video, like, you know, in 300 where it's like, oh, I'm going to smash it off my shield. No, you're the one just taking it. You're just like,
pretty much. Ow.
I'm dead.
I scanned the bullet points and I was like, no, I think I'm actually so good. But like the 1 stars that are like all run on sentences with no punctuation, capitals, or misspelled, I'm like, you were never going to like the book. That's fine. I don't,
Right.
I hope you find a book you enjoy, right? Yeah. Every once in a while, a 5-star that like they'll say something where I'm like, ooh, you really clicked on something that I was excited about. And I'll be like, I feel like you enjoyed it the way that I enjoyed it when I wrote it. And that makes me happy. But yeah, the 3 stars are the ones where I'm like, man, if only I had been a little more, you'd have loved this book. Sorry.
Yeah.
The ones.
Yeah.
But we do appreciate reviews.
We do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Leave
a review.
Super helpful.
If you're thinking about reading a book, you should also think about reviewing it. And
Unless you don't like it, then don't tell anyone. I'm kidding. Stir in the pot.
You know,
if you don't leave a 5-star review, you hate indies. Why are you a part of the system, huh? Yeah.
just the cartel of reviews.
Every time you give an indie anything other than a 5-star review, you give Jeff Bezos $10.
I think they're gonna give Jeff's getting it anyway.
Yeah, they're true. No matter what, he's getting it somehow.
Yeah. Like, oh man, I had something in my brain. Something about reviews. Yeah. Well, like how, like what, like the ranking system is weird now because like everything is like, oh, it's 4.5 stars and above, it's good, and it's like that's like really high. But
yeah.
Like,
so
I wish we rated out of 10.
Dude,
personally,
I think that would be much better. I think though that the fact that the biggest problem is that Amazon and Goodreads, which Amazon owns, use 2 different rating systems. That's like
really?
Insane. Yeah. So when you read through Goodreads reviews, people are trained on a scale that is literary, which is more traditional,
I see what you mean.
Right?
Yeah.
Whereas on Amazon, people are trained on a product review, which is not literary. And so in a product review, there's no actual nuance. Is a thing good or is it bad? In a literary review, it's how good is it? And so on Goodreads, you can have a 3.9 on a book and it still be a good book, right? On Amazon, if you're below 4.5, you legitimately have a problem because people will not purchase, right? It's not that your book is bad. It's that the system is designed so that it won't push your book to new people because the reviews are below a certain threshold. And on Goodreads, that's like, it's just 2 completely different systems. And so the fact that they combine it and they're like, hey, Goodreads is the review platform for Amazon. And then we're going to put the Goodreads score on Amazon. And like, it's just 2 completely different systems, 2 different ways of thinking about books. And they're trying to like mash them together.
That's a really good point, actually, that I hadn't thought about before.
Look at Seth dropping knowledge.
Yeah. He does that.
But the thing now, here's the hard part. Another part that's annoying is that I'm pretty sure the Goodreads reviews inject into Amazon, and so it brings Amazon's rating usually down because by far
they're meaner on Goodreads for sure.
Yeah. So on Goodreads, they're like much more direct, and they're like, here you go, because it's a different system. But when that comes over and you got a 3.9, right, but you got like a 4.7 on Amazon, that 3.9 brings that 4.7 down to like 4.3, and now you're at 4 stars. And it's like, we got a problem.
Yep.
Does it affect the overall star rating or just the separate one? Interesting. Woof.
You stare at it.
Yeah. It's hard also because Amazon isn't super interested in how good somebody's book is. They're only interested in whether it sells or not, which is
just
why,
a little bit of a Ouroboros.
Yeah, it really is, which is why you end up with, people in the romance space who are like 3.5 is great, right? As long as I hit 3.5, my audience will buy the crap out of this. And I just so happen to have 300,000 people on my email list who are all going to buy this book. And then Amazon's like, oh, this is super popular, so we'll just like, it sells, and so it doesn't matter how good it is, it sells, and so we're just going to pump that, right? Because again, Amazon is a platform for selling products, not ultimately books. Even though it started as a book selling platform, it sold books in a different way than a regular bookstore. Amazon was the original like commodification of books.
Yeah.
And the knock-on effects have then impacted how we have to like manage our audiences because
Yeah, you do have to think of your book as a product and as a literary piece of fiction.
Yep.
Weird.
Michael's like, over my dead body.
Yeah. But okay, so I actually was wrong. I think that actually when Goodreads feeds in their ratings, that it doesn't affect the overall rating. It looks like Amazon has theirs and Goodreads has theirs.
But they do show you. They do display it. And it's always lower, so it is a little demoralizing. Oh no, did you just discover one of your ratings?
No. I don't need to do that. It's a good Saturday, man. Like, I'm having a good day.
We're having fun.
I was like 50 Shades of Grey, and I was like, wow, it has 114,000 reviews on Amazon. Guess how many on Goodreads?
Oh, probably like 500,000.
No, not even close.
More? Not more?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a million. More than a million?
Yeah.
2 million.
What?
Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah.
2.869. Like it's 2,869,000 reviews
on Goodreads.
Wow. That's the most I've ever heard of.
That's nearly 3 million ratings.
I have never. What's the total rating?
3.7.
3.7. Yeah.
I think that proves our point.
Right? That's crazy.
Million reviews.
That's crazy. When I see something with like 100,000 reviews, I'm shocked.
Yeah.
I'm like stunned.
Well, it's okay. So also, we get way less reviews than people in romance. I was talking to someone in romance. I was like, "Hey, how many?"
Like per capita?
Yeah,
per buy
capita.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
My bad, guys.
Yeah,
per person in your buying circle.
My bad.
No. I'm like, oh yeah. What's my per capita review count?
No way I'm getting word checked by a bunch of authors, bro. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, literally.
The other guys who use words for a living are like, your vocabulary is being a little persnickety right now. Jeez. All right, my bad.
Though it's also kind of funny. Like, when you get a text message from another author and you're like, oh, you're out of words today. And it's like, you're like, I could decipher this. Well, what the hell are you like?
Yeah.
Write for a living. It's like,
yeah, I'm not getting paid for this text. Anyway, you were saying per buying reader.
Yeah,
by reader.
Per capita review per capita. Is that how that works?
I'm gonna start using that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's wrong. I don't know that it's right, but I don't think it's wrong.
It's not wrong, and we also, it is wrong, but we immediately understood what you meant, so that's fine.
Yeah.
It's just if you took all your readers and put them in the nation that your romantasy is set in, then they would be per capita. By buying the book, you become a citizen, therefore it is per capita.
Okay. So
Fair.
per bookita is what we're looking at.
There you go.
You heard it here first.
Actually, worse.
Never underestimate our ability to make it worse.
Yeah. You know what? We're one good delete for this story.
I am actually interested in this, though. I am actually interested.
Yeah.
Romance.
Coming back from tangents. Okay, so romance, they have a lot more reviews per reader. And when you go to the super niche, it can be as little as one review per 12 readers, which is super high, right? For us, I think normally I pin it at like sometimes 70, but more often like 100 readers to one review.
Especially recently, it's been dropping, right? There was a time in LitRPG when it was a bit higher, in the like 30-40 range. And some of that is like audience dependent, but yeah, especially recently, reviews have just been tanking.
Oh yeah.
Do you think that that's an increase in physical sales? Like people reading off Kindle? Because it's more work to lead a review if you're reading not on your Kindle, like, right? Like if you have it auto-linked and at the end you're like, ding.
I do think that it's audio related. I think a lot more readers are on audio, and people just leave far fewer reviews on audio, right? I'll go and I'll look at a popular book in any category, and then I'll go to the audio for it, and usually there's less than a tenth the number of reviews. Unless
that makes
it's
sense.
weird like DCC, where your audio reviews are way higher than your ebook reviews, right? Like unless it is.
Well, I think he sold more. Yeah, I mean, I think he sold more audiobooks than he has ebooks. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, that makes sense actually, because I will say Ironbound, to my knowledge, Ironbound is selling pretty well on audio. Like, I don't have numbers, right? But review-wise, it has fewer than Soul Fraud, which I don't think makes sense. Like, for the amount, maybe Soul Fraud has sold more over its lifetime still. It's been out for a few years, but it's definitely sold better out of the gate than Soul Fraud did. But it's only crossed like 300 reviews or something.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
I think it's like there's other parts are, if you're reading on Kindle, which is the majority of our readers are, if I'm like after it coming out, I'm just gonna go to the next book. Like I'm reading a series right now, and I'm like, oh, this book is done. Go return that book, go get the next book, and then continue reading. And it's like maybe 5 minutes between, so I'm like less likely to review it. Because also,
although that page does give, right when it ends, before it gives you the next one, it pops up the stars, so you can do it right from there, without even like interrupting your flow to getting the next one.
What I'm super curious about though is that like when people hit those stars recently, they haven't been all showing up. Like I don't understand that. I don't understand like why there was the algorithm change to stop showing all of the reviews.
I have a theory, but it mostly has to do with quality control type things. So like the Amazon algorithm changes recently have been like less responsive to sudden bursts. And my guess is that they are filtering out people who are below that threshold of like verified purchaser. Like you have to spend a certain amount on Amazon every year to get like a guaranteed verified. It's like $50, $100 or whatever.
Right.
So I'm guessing that a lot of people in Kindle Unlimited don't hit that threreshold,
which is stupid because they should just count Kindle Unlimited towards that.
Well, right, but during the year, right, you only get it for like the back half of the year or something like that. And then probably resets is my guess. I'm not sure. But my thought is that they're trying to limit the like rapid release strategy. They want people to be putting out like some higher quality stuff. And so they are suppressing some of the reviews from people who are consuming that type of content.
Do you think,
and that's my thought.
Do you think, I mean, that makes sense. Do you think that there's a trad complaining aspect to it? Because one of the things that was super fascinating about like early indie days was that anytime trad put out an ebook or like an ebook version, first of all, their pricing was always awful, but it would never make the charts. It was always just crushed under the weight of all of these indies who were all on the rapid release cycle, where it's like, I only expect this book to perform for 2 months. After that, it's going to trickle at like a sale a day, but it doesn't matter because I have another book coming out in 2 months. And so I'm selling to my audience of 20 to 60,000 people, and every 2 months I'm selling a book to them, and that's enough to just bump it to the top of the charts every single time, right? And so like I just own a slot on the top 100 every 2 months, and then a bunch of authors were doing that same strategy. And so all of the trad books that were coming out were getting just buried.
It's possible that it's a trad complaint. It's also possible that it's a platform strategy, right? Because they may not be excited about books that come out, flash in the pan, and then die. Like they may be wanting to encourage franchises that have long tails, right?
Right.
In the same way that there's that like 20 books to 50K thing,
Yeah.
Amazon is 2 million books to 500 million, right? Like they want books that continue to sell. So they want to encourage certain behaviors in what their books published on their website look like.
This is also, so we've had this discussion before. This is the quality argument, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, the platform, like, because you've seen it coming from YouTube of like, okay, well, in YouTube, it's like, hey, we want more quality content. How do we tweak it to make you make more quality content? Which I think is definitely a thing. I would wonder actually, like, I always go with what's the simplest answer? AI bot of like, oh, there was probably like, you can have a bunch of bots making a ton of reviews and then just flooding it. Because like, I don't know if you two have had it, but apparently there's 17,000 book groups out there. I'm sorry if anyone listening to this is actually from you've been sorely screwed over by the scammers.
Yep.
Because now authors will not take any messages from book clubs because they're like, oh, this is written really well. Like there's websites created, there's links created for meetups.
Intricate.
It's like it's a whole thing. But so authors are just like, oh yeah, like I can't do this. Like I had one come in and I was like I think that this is a thing, and I started responding and then another comes in, and I guess that they had forgotten to turn it off, and it was a carbon copy of the one I already had. And I was like, bounce. And then every day I get like 4 to 7 emails like that. And it's like, God. So I'm wondering if it's like, oh, well, we want to make sure that we have reviews that are human on this.
Also probably part of it too.
Yeah. To make sure that it's not a issue.
For sure. The simplest answer is probably something along the lines of all of the above, right?
Yeah.
They probably also got to go to trad and be like, look, you guys are going to do better now. Yeah. They also get to curate winners in a way that they think is better for them, and they're shutting down. You know, they're probably doing all of those things.
Yeah. I will say that I've started changing how I talk to my audience about reviews. I still encourage people to leave reviews, but more and more I'm saying the best kind of review that you can leave for me is to actually just go on to social media and say, hey, I really enjoyed this book. And even if you don't have any followers, tag me and tag the, if there's a publisher, tag the publisher. And the best, like if you want to support an author, that is the single best way you can do it right now. It used to be leaving a review on Amazon was the single best thing you could do. Now it's very much the personal, this is a book I really appreciated for these reasons. Here's a picture of it. Tag the publisher, tag the author, and that does a lot more in terms of awareness than a review will.
It's also like there's a lot, like BookTube has exploded. BookTube, BookTok.
Not BookTube, BookTok and Bookstagram. Those are the ones that are really crushing. BookTube struggling, in my opinion.
You're struggling to get out of that Bookstagram there, buddy.
It's not a good word. Bookstagram, dude.
Hey, but
YouTube in general,
we've had not a series of not great words. But if like, there's a lot. We are children. Dang it!
We fully derailed him.
Yeah, just offline.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah. But so okay, if you're doing like BookTube, BookTok, all of these like sharing your books, that is 100% being way more influential. Like if someone else says, "Hey, this book is good," it's kind of going back to that the Greek chorus, right? Yeah. It's like, hey, if you get your fans to be your Greek chorus, maybe not an iambic pentameter, because then you have to read that stuff. But you get him to do that, it's amazing because it shows, hey, I'm not just saying this. Like, I'm not saying this is an awesome book. Other people are saying it's an awesome book. Like, the best things to do, like to serve to people who are on the fence, is not, hey, this is amazing. It is actually to serve them, hey, I wasn't expecting this book to be good. And like, and then it was good. And this is why it was good. And because it's more realistic. Because like when you go to a book and you're like, this is gonna be amazing, or you go like,
every time I do, I'm disappointed.
Please don't mess up book 2. And then you read book 2 and you're like, it's okay.
Doing my best, man. Okay, leave me alone.
Good luck. Good luck.
Thanks, dude.
I just lower my standards with every new book that comes out.
I just took that decision. I just lowered my standards, and I thought
my first book was actually my best. They just get worse as you go.
Why do you think I only advertised the first one? Come on, man.
Yeah.
that is the author thing, right? When somebody's like reads your newest book and they're like, dude, I loved your newest book. I'm gonna go read your whole bibliography, and you're like, yeah, I hope you enjoy it, because that was written by a different, and he was worse.
He did not have these skills, or he was working from an entirely different playbook. Because and series, like, I think, okay, an author has their own voice, but a series has its own parameter as well. And like sometimes, and I've seen this a lot, is like, if someone likes that series, it does not necessarily mean in any shape or form that they're going to like the next series that you do. Because like they're like, oh, this is way too far removed. This is not where I want to be. Yeah. And so that can sometimes be jarring. Or like you have to like test it out, where you go like, oh, this was really good. And then you go and like, I'm going to go I'm going to go read a sample of that other book to see what that's like and see if I enjoy that. It's very rare. I think, like, take Brandon Sanderson. You may like 2-3 different series, but I don't think and there are people out there who like love everything that he's done. 100% understand that, but I don't think that's the majority. I think it's just more like a Venn diagram of series. If like, I like this one and this one, but not that one.
And even people who like the whole series tend to like the person, like the author, more than they actually like the books, right? It's like, in those cases, it's often like an identity thing. I'm a person who likes this author, right? Or this thing, right? Or they're just not reading them actually serious. Like, the way they read is to just skim over everything, and they're not concerned with like the content as much as they're just interested in consuming something.
Well, a lot of those authors are also gateway authors too, right? A lot, Brandon Sanderson, it gets recommended to a lot of people who are like, I want to read more. What should I read? Yeah. And Brandon is a great entry point back into reading, because he writes like
meme of just getting slapped with a pile of books.
Yeah. First of all, there's 400 of them, so you don't have to go hunting. Yeah. And second of all, they're all written in like a really approachable, like, if you're not deep in the fantasy woods, like, okay, great. He will ease you in. He's going to make sure he's writing for that kind of person to be included. And like, they're phenomenal at that. Red Rising's having a whole thing where like it's being discovered by the romance side of Book Talk. And a lot of romance influencers are posting, they're like, it's my first time reading a sci-fi. And so it's becoming a like entry point into sci-fi space opera for people who are like, oh, I never tried that because I got into romantasy and I want to try something new. So you get these ones where people who are reading it don't have a wide depth of like comparison for that genre, which isn't a bad thing, right? Like, it's phenomenal to have these entry points. But so then they're like, cool, I'm going to stick where I'm comfortable. Like, I've learned how to sit in the shallow end. But I the deep end, it still looks scary. I'm not ready. And there's a lot here, so I'm going to check it out, which is great, but it's also a really good marketing strategy. So, shout out.
It's like, I think also as genres change, like LitRPG, when it started, it had to be very grounded in other genres to bring people in. Now that it's established itself, you can see like, okay, we don't have a need to have a bunch of entry points from other things. We can just kind of have deeper things of LitRPG. I think, like, actually, like, coming from science fiction doesn't have enough series that someone can get into easily. And I think that is actually why science fiction has contracted so much. Like people are like, oh, well, as soon as we put a man on the moon, like, we started doing science fiction less. I'm like, Sun Eater. Like look at that
Yeah.
series and the great success it's having. Look at Red Rising and the great success it's having, because it is approachable. It's easy to get into. Like Dune, like people are like, oh, this is amazing. It's because it's a child protagonist of like, hey, I'm going to become the king. It's that classic, hero's journey. And it's like, oh, let's add in all of these noble houses. But instead of noble houses controlling like, a keep, they control star systems. And the way they don't have knights, they have nuclear arsenals. It's like, okay, like we just changed this a little bit, and I'm fully into this. But I think it'll be interesting as LitRPG goes of like, does it continue to have those entry and exit points? But also, as it grows, and say it's like, as in Asia, it takes over 50% of the market. All of those series that are like, hey, I've got a little bit of science fiction. Hey, I got a little bit of fantasy. Hey, I got a little bit of like cozy. Or I've got like these other genre types that are tied into them. That creates entry points outwards to those places as well. And so that changes your market a lot. But like, if you look at Asia, Asia's much more mature market in this area by far. So yeah, they've been doing like what Moonlight Sculptor is like what, like a 2 decades?
It's old.
Yeah. And so like it's been doing it for 20 years. And so we've only been doing it for 7.
Yeah, I do think sci-fi has like a weird thing going on where like I'm not in the genre. I'm going to say this like generally, but like I feel like it gets written wrong and I don't really know even what that means, because whenever somebody hits sci-fi right, it goes gangbusters in a way that like fantasy doesn't, right?
I think part of the problem though is that whenever somebody writes sci-fi right, all the sci-fi people are like, that's wrong.
Yeah,
it goes
it's
gangbusters outside the genre. It doesn't go gangbusters in the genre. The number of sci-fi fans that I've heard like just trash Project Hail Mary is crazy, considering how popular book was, like how good the book is, right? But it's good outside the genre. And I think one of sci-fi's real problems is that there are purists, and the purists do control sort of what sits inside the space, and they just aren't interested. Like,
yeah,
they have a specific thing that they like, which is why everything turned into military sci-fi. Like,
yeah,
science fiction became the military sci-fi genre.
Yeah.
And all of the other sci-fi that can cross into general market, they're like, that's not sci-fi. I don't know.
I think you're probably right.
Yeah, like,
I wonder if it has the same problem urban fantasy does, where it's like a bunch of genres in one trench coat, all pretending to be the same genre. But it's not. Like, I think urban fantasy should be really split into like urban and paranormal romance. Like, those are like, we both are like, we're urban fantasy, and like both of us have an argument about it, but it's confusing and it unhelpful to both sides of the coin. Yeah. And sci-fi, I think, probably has a little bit of that too.
Yeah. Because I would actually really agree with like what you're both saying of like, science fiction has become military science fiction in its most of its forms, and then any other science fiction is like, yeah, this doesn't exist. Like The Expanse is one interesting one where it kind of hit everyone.
I love The Expanse, dude.
Expanse was great, and like what a TV show! Like they knocked that out of the park.
Agreed.
But like Altered Carbon, that was also like really good. Like people like that, but again, that was more outside of like. And you know what? Maybe the way to do this is we like the genre, the people who are consuming, who will consume those books that have science fiction elements, care about science fiction and military combined, and then other readers who read science fiction are reading a whole bunch of like other stuff. Right. And so if like something comes out in science fiction, it has to make a bigger splash to get their attention to even read it.
Yes. Whereas
the military science fiction readers, because they're reading everything that is even related to science fiction to get some kind of hit, they'll like go and read it and be like, that's not what I wanted.
That's not what I wanted. Yeah. I mean, the fact that cyberpunk isn't a sci-fi subgenre, like cyberpunk is just considered its own thing.
It should just be sci-fi.
It should just be sci-fi. But sci-fi has just has spaceships and is about military people.
No, that's true. And that's too bad, because
it is.
All the ones that really take off. Is. I mean, space opera should also maybe just not be sci-fi, really. Like is right? Like Because Sun Eater, Red Rising, all of those are space operas. Dune.
Yeah, but it's okay. Like space opera to me is like it's weird because it sits in a place of like epic fantasy. You don't have
Yes,
fantasy
it's space
opera.
fantasy.
Yeah, like,
Right.
so it's like it doesn't. So what is the definition of space opera? And I like that's
Nobody
the thing
knows.
is like it's really hard.
It's a
to be
vibe,
defined.
man.
Not military sci-fi is what it is.
No, but like here's the thing though: is that
When you
it
have to
can be
define
military
yourself by what you're
sci-fi.
not.
It can be military science fiction, but it's
Mhm.
just it's got a big cast, so it's space opera. And I'm like,
No,
who's
I-
making this
But see,
guideline?
this is
Like,
the thing.
no
Like,
one, man. That's
Yeah.
how we have the genres we have.
But military sci-fi is also very. It's a specific feeling, right?
Yeah.
It's stories about soldiers told from the point of view of a soldier, right?
Yeah.
And so if I wrote military sci-fi, it wouldn't work because I haven't lived in that world. I don't understand. I don't have the culture, right? And so much of that specific genre is culture. It's not actually the content, it's the way the content is presented. And that's why I think it's gotten so insular and it's like resistant to all of these other kinds of science fiction because it is a very specific culture.
Yeah, it hasn't been shaken up in a time.
No.
Because it's also science fiction had a pause in production, and the only thing that kept on producing was the pulpy military science fiction. And then when people came back and they were like, I've got this other thing from science fiction had become very hard science fiction. So hard science fiction is like crunchy and LitRPG. It's like it became like, where is your actual fact for this to be? Like, where's a theory for this to be possible? And if you
Right.
don't have a
Science
theory for
must
how this is
be
possible-
real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like otherwise it's science fantasy. It's right. So yeah. God. It's complicated, man.
It is, and it's dumb.
It
and
is.
I will write a space opera at some point. So
I wrote
I've got one
us-
cooking.
a science fantasy. Like my last series, the X-Lane Syndrome. I guess it's still coming out. But the X-Lane Syndrome series is sci-fi, except that it's also fantasy. And like
right,
there are
you,
no
you
space-
just have to market it as like sci-fi, right?
Right. Yeah.
Or, I mean, as fantasy rather.
Yeah, and I kind of do, but also like we made the covers look more science fiction.
I do like your covers a lot.
And
for
then
that.
and then you open it up and you're like, everything runs on mana. What is this? And so it's like a superhero story. So it's weird. Like it doesn't fit into the sci-fi genre, but it's all future tech and soldiers and anyway. It's a weird
it's
weird
fun.
like the whole genre thing is weird. And I think something that's important for anybody who's listening who wants to write, genres were created to sell books, right? Genres are for publishers. You just need to understand what kind of story you want to tell. And then eventually, once you've written your story, you have to figure out which bucket to put it in that's going to make somebody most likely to give you $1 to get it. Like,
Disclaimer, don't think that one book is going to be into 17 genres, because it's not.
Yeah,
That
you do have to
happens a
pick,
lot.
unfortunately.
correct.
You can maybe have two.
I think so.
As long as they're not too different.
Yeah.
I think you can mix a couple of genres. I think all my books are a couple of genres, but to your point, Andrew, I always picked a thread that goes through all of those genres that is the same. And I was like, this is just the thread of my story. And I'm going to mix in elements from these different genres, but there is a singular thread. The story is about a singular thing.
Yep.
And that makes it work.
Because otherwise you end up, I mean, I think your example of Soul Caller at the beginning of the
Yeah.
podcast, right? Like if they're too disparate, you end up dissatisfying both genre readers. Which is what it is. But well, Seth, where can people find you if they want to find you?
SethRing.com.
That's all right. That's easy.
Very
just
nice
like
website.
just like the One Ring, it's a very nice website.
Thank you.
He'll burden you with many books. Seth,
Oh,
thanks for.
And if you want to, I stream writing sprints on YouTube, 7:00 to 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until
Wait, okay,
noon,
you
Monday through Friday, and I stream myself doing writing sprints, so you can come and watch me dictate and see me writing all my books.
It's incredibly demoralizing to wake up on the East Coast or the West Coast and see that Seth's already been writing for 3 hours every day. Keeps me very shamed.
Yeah, if you were to do the math on that, he's written 15% to 20% of his book while you've been sleeping.
Yeah, awesome. That's cool.
You bum.
Yeah, no, what am I even doing with my life?
So if you want to be demoralized, come and join me on YouTube. Is the
Amazing.
Thanks for coming, Seth. It's been
yeah,
great.
super fun. I love hanging out with you guys.